Hey everyone, welcome back to our second episode this week of the Cool Water Show, where we are a podcast about the Real Housewives universe over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari. I am joined by my co-host Katie. Katie, it is late on a Sunday, but we're bringing the coverage when it happens. So we are here post Atlanta. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm not going to tell the whole story here, obviously, but I went to the brunch day, which is like
the brunch.
This is our like one podcast not related to the brunch, but I went to a brunch where there was Brad from The Challenge, there was Jamie from Real World and Real World Homecoming, and so I had a whole experience today that maybe on a different podcast on a different day we'll get into. But so yeah, I'm riding the highs of my experiences from this afternoon. Let's put it that way.
And from what it sounds like, based on what we talked about before we went live, it sounds like there are a lot of highs to ride. Very eventful afternoon for you, it sounds like.
Yeah. I don't even know if my low is like that much of a low, but it's definitely like outlandish more than a low.
For sure.
I had highs and an outlandish, no lows.
No, yeah. For sure.
So but we're here to talk about Beverly Hills in Atlanta, this week's episodes. And I feel like I watched Beverly Hills like a decade ago, and I think it was yesterday. If I were to sum up this week's Beverly Hills episode in like one sentence, it would be, I don't even know if it's a sentence. Is there a verb in this? Erika plus Sutton for E.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation of this episode. Also, like, drunkenness.
Yeah, dude, Erika was hammered.
Hammered.
Yes. So
Mud pie messy. That's what Sutton
Yes.
called her, right? She was
Mud pie messy. That was the description. Let's dive into this.
Okay. The same way Diana dove in to swim with those jellyfish.
Yeah, but we're not going to get stung by jellyfish tonight.
No.
No one needs to pee on anybody this evening.
Nope.
Too late. We have work tomorrow.
Is that what Sutton said? TT?
OTT, over the top? Is that it?
Well, I think OTT.
Oh, wait. Yeah. What'd you say?
No, Sutton said TT. Do we need to TT instead of like P?
Oh, I thought you said OTT. I'm like, yeah, OTT. It is over the top. How many of them were just willing to pee on her?
That is also over the top. Yes. Agreed.
So we start the episode in Diana's room for a nightcap. It's Erika, Crystal, Kyle, Dorit, and Sutton. So basically like everyone but Garcelle and Lisa Rinna. Yeah. And when Sutton walks in, Diana looks pissed.
Right. Diana's like not pleased. Hates Sutton. Yeah. Doesn't even hide it.
If this episode is summed up by Erika plus Sutton for E, then I think the second sentence is Sutton minus Diana for E.
Yes, agreed.
Or maybe it should be like Diana minus
Sutton.
Yeah. Because we definitely have a strong dislike brewing over in Beverly Hills. Yes.
So
each of them talks about their relationship with their exes. I don't care about this. Do you?
Nope.
I knew you wouldn't.
Couldn't care less, actually. Yeah. No.
You don't even care about their relationship with their current husband, much less their exes.
Do any of them have current husbands aside from Kyle and I guess there's PK. Harry Hamlin. No, I don't care. Mauricio,
and Harry
don't care.
Hamlin.
Don't care.
Diana.
Don't care about any one of those men. Oh, yeah, Diana's husband / son. Yeah, no, I don't care. Definitely don't care.
We're out here. So we get a little Sutton and Erika talk, our first of a few this episode. And I appreciate that Sutton was like very straightforward with her in this. And was just like, hey, so do you feel any responsibility for what happened? And Erika goes, no, like, do the spouses of doctors feel responsible for what happens with like a doctor and their patient? And Sutton is like, that's an interesting point.
It's an interesting point because I don't know that doctors, wives of doctors who commit malpractice against their patients are going out making songs called "It's Expensive to Be Me" and spending all their money very frivolously, openly. I'm just saying, or like lying in the public eye, saying that the patients don't exist. I don't know, just a thought. Kind of a false equivalency to me here,
Yeah.
but interesting
Is
point,
that
I guess.
I agree with you. I was like, you know, I feel like Sutton's too smart to not kind of be like, this isn't exactly the same, but also I don't think it was just like the place or time because they're kind of
Yeah,
getting along.
yeah.
And Erika says that she wishes wishes. I went to speech in first grade, so it wasn't for that though. It was for ths, not shs. I used to say mother like mother, like a hard
Mm,
f almost.
like Amber Rose
Um,
says it.
yeah, kinda like it. I feel like it's a very. There's British people that talk like that normally,
Yeah. Mhm.
and I just like inherited my grandparents very successfully gave at least two of the three of us speech impediments with their heavy Scottish accents. So
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
thanks, grandma and grandpa. Appreciate
Thank you.
that. um so anyway, she says that she wishes that Sutton and her had more conversations like this, and
Mhm.
it is a nice wish, I think, because I feel like if these conversations happened a year ago, then we're not still having the storylines of a year ago.
Yeah, which is all we have right now are the storylines from a year ago. So that would be great. Have some more conversations like this. Like, great.
Yeah, super. And let's just like I guess it kind of goes to Garcelle's point how she feels like everybody's just talking about something else. Like
Yeah.
Erika wants to talk about something else. Last year, Erika only wanted to talk about her. Let's just kind of forget it happened. But at the same time, I'm not saying let's forget it happened, but it doesn't need to be the thing that like Erika speaks a sentence and it's like, yeah, but don't forget that your husband may or may not have stolen all this money from these plane
Millions
victims.
of
You know what I
dollars.
mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
just,
It's hard for me because I feel like I actually kind of enjoyed Erica this episode, and
mhm,
I fundamentally feel like I should not be enjoying Erica at any moment ever. So it's a little tough. Kind of like what the seasons has been. We've said a few times that she's kind of been the voice of reason.
mhm,
And I feel like in this episode, not that she was a voice of reason, but she was almost enjoyable to watch.
mhm. I mean, it's kind of like Jen Shah vibes. How many times have we said, like, Jen Shah, I hate the fact that you
Right.
may have embezzled all this money from old people because your confessionals are fucking hilarious.
Right. Like they're coming off likable a little bit.
And that's the thing is like, even if you've done something shitty, you can still be funny every once in a while, I guess.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you don't have to. It's kind of like how Erica said, like, I'm not going to come here and on the trip right after Lisa Rinna's mom dies and cause drama by like telling Sutton to
Right.
shut the fuck up every time she looks at me or whatever, and
Right.
is like moving through it. And Sutton's kind of seeing it in the same way of like, yeah, is she a shitty person? Sure, but she's funny and I like funny people. Like,
Exactly. It seems like they're enjoying each other's company, which I'm not mad at.
yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying them. I'm kind of enjoying watching them enjoy each other's company.
It's one of those things like if you can't beat them, join them type of
Right.
thing where not necessarily like join them in being crooks or whatever, or maybe from the other side, like Erica, don't join in on racism, but um, just like, are we gonna have the same fight every time you guys are forced to go out to dinner? Or
Right.
can we just look at your Bumble and see who you're swiping right on? I like
Right.
that option instead.
Yeah, I'd prefer that. I'd prefer that.
Same. So I'm not mad that this friendship is having more positives than negatives because it
Mhm.
also makes the show a little bit more enjoyable to watch because it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, they're in the
Nothing
same
is
room. Here we go.
nothing's going on this
Yeah.
season. I hate to say.
Yeah. We were
Nothing.
like promised good shit. And
What is this episode like 7? 6, 7? Nothing's happening.
I think it's 7. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to bring this up, but have to just based off our
Okay.
last week conversation. The next segment is Lisa Rinna standing on her balcony and she's like, oh, birds. Hi, Lois. And it's seagulls. There's more fucking seagulls because they're at
Ma'am,
the
you are on the
goddamn beach.
beach. You're on the beach. There are birds on the beach. Like, I don't know what to I'm sorry that you're mourning your mother, but this is not her. Not every bird is her. She has to pick one. She has to pick one bird. It's not the seagulls. I'm sorry.
We need to be put in contact with this medium, be like, "Can you narrow this down?" And maybe, like,
Yeah.
text Lisa
At least give
Rinna.
us, like, a type of bird, like a species of bird. Give us one type, a breed.
Yeah, something, even a color, but
Color,
not, like,
even a
white
color.
or gray. Give
No.
us, like, a more weird color, like
Right.
red. Not that red is a weird color, but for birds, you don't see
For
red
birds, yeah, you
birds
see, like, cardinals
nearly
occasionally.
as frequently as you do the white seagull on the beach.
Right, a very common beach bird.
Yes. So I had to bring that up because
Yeah.
we were partners in crime and being assholes about that last week.
Mhm.
All right, so we go to Sutton, but with like I think it's our glam team. I'm so over seeing all these glam teams and the conversations with the
Me
glam
too.
teams. And okay, I actually thought of this while I was watching it that it kind of relates to the thing that I didn't enjoy about New Jersey that I told you is that it feels like on New Jersey, the wives talk to their husbands to
Mhm.
try and settle conflict that they have with other wives. And
Yep.
similarly, like these conversations that these women are having with their glam team should really be had with other housewives.
Totally agree. I feel like they should not be allowed to have these, like, buffer people because it takes away from the conflict of them actually having to have these conversations for themselves. Instead of, like, being able to vent to these people, they should have these conversations directly with the other housewives. Like you said, like,
Mhm.
it almost adds, like, when I get angry after work, which happens often, I will go to Matt, my partner, and just be like, "Oh my god, fucking work, blah, blah, blah." And then I, like, calm down. But if I
Mhm.
didn't have that outlet or, like, an ability to just, like, say out loud what I'm angry about, like, maybe it would lead to me going off on someone, which is not ideal. Like, I don't wanna do that at my job for sure. But you know what? It's these ladies' jobs to do that at their
Mhm.
job. That is their entire job. So they shouldn't have these glam teams that can, like, take the conflict out of them. Don't give them that, like, venting opportunity. Take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Get rid of the glam teams. Also,
Yeah,
I just want to see these people do their own makeup.
me too. Me too. Because it seems like Crystal right now is the only one. Maybe Kyle's, like, unconfirmed because she was, like, ironing her own outfit.
Yeah, that's
So I don't
true.
know.
I feel like she sometimes has a glam team and sometimes doesn't,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know. So Sun says that she feels like she lashed out at Diana the night before, like Diana is one of her children, and all she does to these people is apologize.
yeah.
Which is kind of true, but also like, are you doing things that you need to maybe stop doing things that you need to apologize for?
Right. I mean, like, I don't think the apology is the problem. I think it's the fact that you're doing things that you need to apologize for, which is
I
the
hate that
problem. I
I
think
have
we're
to
focusing on the
keep
wrong thing here.
apologizing.
Right. Right.
Like, bro, you know that like the apology is the reaction. Like there is an
Right.
action first.
Like, what does that tell you, ma'am? Let's think about it for a second.
Mhm. Yeah, I again, there's little things that's like, "Oh, I could skip this in the recap," but also I need to bring it up because I can't just let Sutton get away with saying that
Right.
she's sick of apologizing because bitch, you do things that require apologies.
Right, like, hello? What do you think comes before the apology? The action that deserves an
Mhm.
apology.
I just dropped a Brandy Glanville bitch on you, so,
I know, I feel like I did it so many times when we were talking about Rahugata too that, I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help myself.
just the best influence on me,
Mhm.
Brandy Glanville.
On both of
Um,
us.
yeah, truly. I know I have a lot of, like, Brad stuff currently on my desk, but I'm gonna replace it with pictures of Brandy. So,
Amazing.
next we have Lisa, Kyle, and Dorit, and they are talking about how, like, things were weird because Sutton and Erika were getting along, and,
Yeah.
I mean, valid, because like, it would be weird if all of a sudden it's kinda like when it's like you have, like, exes that, like, are still in the same group of friends, but then you see them being, like, less exy, and you're like, "What? What's this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. What's going on?" That's kinda this right now.
I also feel like it's kind of making them shake in their boots because then they're like, "Oh, no, if these 2 become friends, then we might have to do something." And God forbid any of them actually do something.
We'll just have to keep picking on Crystal.
Right. Yeah, let's just make Crystal a scapegoat.
So Dorit says she thinks that Crystal and Sun should be past their shit at this point, And then Rinna jumps in and is like, okay, do you think that Crystal always plays the victim and gets away with it? And Dorit says that she thinks it's second nature to her. What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Do you think that?
I think that's second nature for Dorit.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it would be natural for her to assume that of someone.
Yeah. I just feel like we don't know enough about Crystal. Like, obviously, they have more
Right.
insight because there's 14 friends that dropped her, apparently. And we only see
Yeah.
what we've seen on
Yeah.
a season and a half of
Mhm.
Beverly Hills. So I think there's like potential for that to be true. And there's definitely people who are like that. Like, I can think of a couple of people who have like run through my life where it's like, have you
Yeah.
ever taken responsibility for something?
Oh, I have a lot of ex-friends who I could
Yeah.
name drop right now, which I won't, but or who are very much like that, yes.
Our next podcast is gonna be called
Mhm.
like Anonapod, where we just talk
Ooh,
shit
I like
about
that.
people by naming them different things and
I
then
like
just
that
talking
idea.
about them. Came up with that one off the top of my head. If
I
that's
like it.
already a name, I will fight you for it. So
Yeah, don't subtweet us, okay?
yeah, yeah. I'm actually tweet me directly so we can have this
Yeah, if
conversation.
at least if you're gonna tweet, just, like, tag us, okay?
Quick side note, very quick side note. I was tweeting about Love Island earlier because I have definitely not watched close to 18 episodes this weekend. And um
Yeah.
uh someone like replied because I like used the hashtag and someone replied to me about something, and then someone else replied to like their reply being like, why does Obama follow you? To me.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
And like out of nowhere, like this person has like no tweets, like it's crazy. They just like reply to people, and
Don't worry
I
about
just
it.
replied, important people follow important people.
Right. Don't worry about it. As a fellow person who is followed by Barack Obama, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
So I
You
just
had
thought it
to
was
be
like
there, okay?
so funny that this person like decided to look at the response to my tweet to then my
Look at
tweet to
your
then my
yeah.
profile and then like also followed by Barack Obama.
Mhm. Mhm. And they just had to know. They had to
Yeah, like
know.
how? Why? Like, oh, you didn't
Mhm.
know? We're bros. Like,
Mhm.
so anyway, the next thing we get is Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal. So immediately it's like, all right, so you guys are best friends now? I think it was Garcelle. Was like, so
Right.
you, Erika, BFF, and that's where we get Garcelle's insight of like Erika's just happy to not talk about Erika at this point.
Yeah.
And Crystal even acknowledges, like, yeah, it just feels like there's a sense that nothing that is happening with Erika is actually happening. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
And Sun says she knows that her and Erika have a lot to talk about. She needs to know why she hated me and why she called me a mean word. And Garcelle goes, you know why. And Sun goes, it's because I called her a liar. And then Crystal, here's the thing. It's hard for me to back Crystal when, like, Crystal, why do you have to jump in right now and be like,
Right.
well, you called me a liar too?
Part of me okay, so ever since this daughter daughter's friend or friend of Sutton's daughter came out on TikTok, I'm kind of like, maybe Crystal's doing Sutton a favor. I'm just saying, maybe she's doing her a favor and she's
Mhm.
like purposely not digging in deeper into some of the shit that Sutton said. But
Yeah.
I'm also like, then stop bringing it up.
There's ways to bring it up without the way she's doing is like, well, you called me a
Right.
liar. Use some use some I
Right.
statements, you know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I noticed that you used the races of the two people of color in this group when you gave an example. That
Yeah.
felt strange to me after the day before you telling me you don't see color. Wow, what a
Right.
much more powerful statement than you call me a liar.
Right.
My husband made The Lion King. You called me a liar. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I don't bring glam. I love TJ
Yeah.
Maxx. Yeah.
Yeah. I wait till things are on sale the third time, then I buy
Yeah.
them.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, we get it, Crystal. Just
Yeah, we know,
stop
okay? We
it.
know.
And so then it shifts to Crystal, which Garcelle's like, do you always hold on to things or is it just with us? Like,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
what's the deal here? And Crystal admits, like, yeah, I hold on to things because I'm processing them. It might take me a while to process. So what you see is me being like manipulative or like bringing things up when I don't need to. It's just because like I'm not over them yet. And Garcelle was like, well, you could have said that in a way that was
Right.
better, which is kind of like the whole thing with Crystal. Is just she's not great at speaking up in a way that is respected by her peers, I feel
Right.
like.
I agree.
So at least like Garcelle is trying to like help her kind of sort that, but also
Mhm.
I don't know what you think about this, because I feel like we're both kind of like team grudge, but
Yeah,
a
always.
year is kind of like a long time for,
It's a long time to not have said something previously.
but
Or,
her
like,
and
if you
Sutton
guys already
talked
worked it
about it.
out, then it's a
Yeah.
long time. Yeah.
Like if you and Sutton have like bonded and forgiven each other and talked about it and are now at Dodger games together,
Right.
and then for you to like bring it up on camera, after all of this like resolution has happened, I
Right.
understand the point of saying that. Like people think it's manipulative.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
So I don't know. I'm like, I want to like Crystal. That's it. I want to. I really want to.
I
She's
know.
just making it hard.
She is making it hard.
Well, the next part is, I think, a fun part. Erika's hammered before she even gets on the boat.
Yeah.
And so we get on the boat. Erika, I wrote this down. Erika went to give Diana a high five, and Diana just like completely ignored her. I don't know if you picked up on that,
I
but
didn't. I didn't.
that made me laugh. And then we get Diana being like, "This boat's not good enough for me. Like, it's a nice like day boat, but it's not a luxury yacht."
Looked like a luxury yacht to me, bitch, okay? It looked huge. More luxury than any boat I've ever been on, so, like,
Yeah,
please
it's
keep it.
bigger than the boat that I have,
Sure, same,
which
I don't have
is,
one, so
yeah,
a little
exactly.
dinghy boat would have been bigger than the boat that I
Yeah,
have.
you could have put me in an inner tube, and I'd be like, "This shit's great."
Seriously. Yeah, same.
No one's even gonna pull me around. That's fine. I'll just float.
Right.
It's
I'll
cool.
just float, it's fine, yeah.
So then we get on the boat, Garcelle, Diana, and Sutton having a little chat. And Garcelle's like, "Diana, do you have any siblings?" And Diana goes, "I had a brother who died in the war." We get a little bit of background on that. And then Sutton's like, "Well, my dad committed suicide. And so, like, I understand about losing a family member." And then we get a Diana confessional where our other theme of this is Diana doesn't like Sutton. She's like, "All roads lead to Sutton. This doesn't even feel like a conversation to me. Sutton just wants to talk about Sutton."
Yeah, which I don't feel like is appropriate here, only because, like, Sutton's trying to, like that's an uncomfortable in the sense that, like, you're trying to comfort someone, you're trying to relate to them on that level and show some empathy, and, like, to me, it felt like Sutton was trying to show empathy here to be like, "Oh, yeah, I know what it's like to lose somebody.
Yeah.
This is what happened to my dad." That's the
Yeah.
vibe that I get. Not that
It
she
just,
was trying to make it about herself.
right. And then, like, Diana kinda storms off. Not storms,
Yeah.
but
She
definitely,
d
like, walks
like,
off in.
abruptly leaves, yeah.
Yeah, like, huffs and puffs her way off.
Right.
It does feel like, when you get annoyed with someone and they could just breathe the wrong way, and you're like,
Oh,
"Shut
yeah.
the fuck up." Like,
Yes.
like, "What'd I
Very much
do?" Like,
so.
that feels like Diana's patience with Sutton right now, like,
Totally.
Sutton can look left when she's supposed to look right, and Diana's gonna be like, "You're a vegetarian that eats bacon."
If I have to hear one more time that she's a vegetarian that eats bacon, I think I might just be like, "You know what? I quit the show. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. Why do we care so much? Why do we care so much?"
We shouldn't.
It's like that was almost like the breaking point for her. She's a vegetarian that eats
Yeah.
bacon. Like,
She says
who
she
cares?
contradicts herself a lot. So we have Erika now on the boat drunk. So she like passed out on the couch for a while.
She was,
And
like, drunk before she got on the boat, right?
yeah.
She said she drank 3 margaritas and was, like, taking pills or something?
Yeah, I think it's like not mixing well with her
Yeah.
antidepressants.
Yeah.
So um we get, let's see. We have her drunkenly wishing to live her life on the boat by herself on the couch, which like also
Mhm.
doesn't sound like a bad lifestyle.
No, especially when she's like, "I want chocolate chip cookies for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and a protein for dinner." And I'm like, "Yeah, give me that too. I would love that. Give me that every day on a boat. I would love that.
Absolutely. This is coming from the
Sounds
person who
great."
might have ordered my third set of cheese fries this week. So, uh,
Yeah, basically my main food group this week has been pizza. So
I'm not judging.
Yeah,
Not
I'm there with
judging at
you.
all. It's been one of those things where I'm just like, I'll get groceries tomorrow. I'll just order food today.
I'm
So
like, Monday will be the day where I start my whole life over. It's
yeah,
every Monday is where I'm a fresh new woman, and it never ends up working out that way.
I'll get on the Peloton tomorrow. I'll get groceries tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll just, be a better person tomorrow.
Monday
Not
is
today
where the
though.
motivation comes, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll see.
It's called Sunday Fun Day for a reason.
True.
Get out all of our last ounces of fun, hope,
Yep.
just overall glee. But anyway, she comes upstairs and acknowledges that maybe the alcohol doesn't mix well with the meds, and then just starts talking about having a threesome. She's
Well,
like,
yeah. Can we also talk about how she said Celine Dion's not singing my swan song? And I was
yeah,
like, what is happening here? Because
I have no
first of all, I
idea.
would love if Celine Dion was singing my swan song because she's a queen. But that was like a wild. Like, was she just saying like she didn't want this to be the Titanic?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Weird.
I have no idea. Yeah, like a lot of it's weird.
I used to have a boat. It was called the Illegal. I don't know if I would say that on television, but okay. Considering the circumstances, I'm just saying.
Okay, so I feel like the closed captions spelled it out that it wasn't actually like,
illegal.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Yeah, she maybe shouldn't have been saying that.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
wouldn't
that
say
she
that.
said that
I
until
wouldn't say
just
that.
now. This part like got me because this is how you can tell how drunk she is. She's like, if me and Garcelle pull up in an Uber, would you and your husband have a threesome with us? And like, bitch, that's 4.
Yeah, that's not a threesome, ma'am. It's not a threesome.
Like, okay, good try. Like, if
Right.
voyeurism is your thing and one's on the
Right.
side, like, live your life. But just putting the math out there for you that
Yeah,
you have
that's
one
4.
too many.
Yeah, that equals 4.
Then after this, It's Expensive to Be Me comes on, which luckily my hair is in a ponytail for this podcast so that if you're watching the video, you can
Oh,
see me dance
Kari,
like
don't do it.
Kyle
Kari, don't do
and
it.
Crystal. But what I feel like it's my obligation as a Real Housewives podcaster to go
Yeah.
like this. If you're
Ugh.
not watching the video, you're missing out on my wild ponytail dance moves right now. So podcast for my ass, all right?
Nothing
Just
gets me
kidding. Rate
more
us 5 stars.
enraged. Nothing gets me more enraged. My cat obviously just heard what was going on, so he had to come in and check out the situation. But nothing gets me more enraged than Kyle Richards doing the propeller hair or the
Yeah.
splits. I can't. These are your 2 moves, and we're tired of them. We've seen them for like 10 years, over 10 years. What season is this? Like 11 or 12? We're
I
done with
think
it.
it's
We
longer.
don't
I
need it
don't know.
anymore.
Yeah. when Crystal is doing it, she doesn't have a ton of hair. I'm just like, where are you
Right.
going? Are you
I know
trying to do
we're
like a sloppy bun? We can. Just
yeah,
spin it
I'd
around.
prefer it. I'd prefer that.
So then Erika passes out again, and she's basically like out for the count for the rest of the boat trip. With like little murmurs here and there. But
Yeah.
during this, Diana dives in.
Well, about Expensive to Be Me, I did enjoy Sutton being like, I can't celebrate this song. And I was
Yeah.
like, thank you for bringing some levity to the situation. Because, like, this is a bad look for everyone on
Yeah.
this boat right now.
Yeah, because they are 100% just ignoring, like,
Yeah.
it feels like
Let's
when
think about
you're
the
in,
situation that we're in.
yeah,
Maybe we shouldn't be singing this song. I'm just trying to help you guys.
it's like when they used to play "What's Your Fantasy" by Ludacris at our middle school dances, and it's like, in hindsight, like, should this be on right now?
Seriously, though. Seriously.
That I didn't make anything up just there. Like, that happened every month.
No,
It was the second Friday of the month at Darrenowski Elementary School. We were just like, all right, let's go.
I am thinking of the Girl, I Want to Make You Sweat, Swell Till You Can't Sweat No More song. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what used to play at our middle school dances. And I'm like, this is like a little bit of an aggressive song here that we're playing for children. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yep. Same vibes of like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is what we should be listening to right now. Let's get the censored version.
Mm-hmm.
It's Expensive to Embezzle from airplane victims. Anyway, so Diana dives in. Diana wants to fuck out. She like dives off the boat and is like,
She's like, "Oh,
jellyfish.
Sutton's here. I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
gonna actually swim back to shore.
yeah.
I'm out of here."
I'll take on the jellyfish. They're not as painful as
Yeah.
Sutton.
Yep.
Gets stung by a jellyfish. Comes back up and Erika wakes up and it's just like, Garcelle, go pee on the new girl, which made me laugh.
Also, the fact that she's like laying down with like a hat on her face and her legs are like completely spread open. Her like
Mhm.
one leg is like up on the thing. She's like really, she's a mood. She's a
Yeah,
mood.
my grandfather, who RIP, great man. Maybe for a long while was a functioning alcoholic. And like the classic move on vacation, especially when you know he day drank too much, was the arm folded over his eyes on
Yeah.
the couch. And like the hat gave me very arm folded over the vibe, or like
Yeah.
folded over the eyes vibes of just like, oh, I've seen that. I grew up
Mhm.
seeing that. I grew up seeing grandma being like, Scotty, get up. And it's like, grandpa didn't care.
No,
Grandpa did not care.
no. Nor did Erika.
Nope, she's just living her life. And you know what? Like, that's the place to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Erin's just saying like some dumb shit throughout like Diana's jellyfish thing. She was like, she said something about a fetish. I don't know exactly. I don't need to get into that type of fetish. But then she goes, I'm sorry that Diana got stung by a jellyfish. That wasn't my intention.
Yeah. Which is actually very funny. This is the most relatable I think Erika's ever been for me
Yes.
personally. Yeah.
Yes. So that's like the end of the boat trip. They have to wake Erika up and she's like, "Oh, it's already done. That was
And
fun.
then
Had
she's
a
like,
great
"I had a
time."
lovely afternoon," and then, like, basically, like, fell or something, like, after. She's
Mhm.
just a mess, yeah.
Yes. Back at the hotel, this is where I wrote, I really don't like the glam sessions.
Yeah.
So we already talked about that. Thankfully, our team get rid of glam, 2K22.
Yep.
So Garcelle and Sutton talk with Crystal a little bit about thinking like, what's up with Erika? She's mixing too much. Maybe it's a cry for help. And then um, they all meet at like the hotel lobby to have some pre-drinks. And Garcelle asked Erika, like, you having coffee? And Erika's face in this had like like vibes to me, where her face was just like, this is our second Brad reference on this
Yeah,
podcast by
it
me,
is,
by the
yeah.
way. I went and saw Brad today from the challenge. If you don't know who that is, look him up.
Yeah.
But or just look at my Instagram.
Yes, also true.
I will there's a picture of us on there. And it was just like very alert eyes. It's like, I've had
Yeah.
3 espressos already.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe let's do like 1.5 less next time.
Yeah, let's chill, let's chill. You're doing a lot today, ma'am.
Mhm.
You're doing a lot.
Yes. She's like, I had to rally, Garcelle. To be fair, you did.
And she did,
You
and
did.
she did.
We respect it.
Yeah.
And she says she just doesn't remember the boat ride.
Honestly, I barely remember the boat ride, and I watched it on TV 5 minutes before this, so it's fair.
I mean, what I mostly remember about the boat ride was Erika's comments, like, in Erika
Right,
sleeping. So I just remember watching Erika.
right. And Kyle's, like, long sleeve bathing suit.
I didn't even notice.
She had, like, a one-piece long sleeve bathing suit. It was very strange.
Weird. Like, why long sleeves?
I don't
Okay.
know, weird.
So we're at dinner, and I have to say something. This is the second time, and I shouldn't criticize because, like, my messy buns are fucking messy. But Erika clearly tries because she has people to do this for her. This
Yep.
is the second time this season. Have you noticed this where she has like the bun, and there's like a part sticking, like just way
Oh,
sticking
yeah,
up
yeah,
at
yeah.
the end?
Yeah.
And it's like,
I think
what
it's
is
intentional.
it has to be intentional because it can't
Yeah, I
happen
think it's
twice like that.
intentional.
But also, why is it intentional?
I
I
don't
fight
know.
my bun to not have that
Me
literally every
too.
single time. If you're trying to tell me that's coming in, I don't want it to be in. I've
No,
fought
neither
this
do
for
I.
34 years and I'm not about to give up.
Mhm. I don't know why. I don't know why. I can't
It
explain it.
annoys me. So I had to get that out there. Erika, fix your
I
bun.
support it. Yeah, no, it needs to be fixed. We won't stand for that.
Nope. Absolutely not. Garcelle starts off by inviting everybody to her birthday next week. She says no gifts are necessary, but they're welcome. And this is where Sutton goes, I'm going to start calling Garcelle a can opener. She's always got to open a
Mhm.
can because she says, oh, like, Lisa, it's so unfortunate that you're not going to be there when Denise is going to be there. And I do think that Rinna asks a question here, which is worth asking. But I think Rinna also has the insight to ask this question because it's something Rinna would do, which she was like, is Garcelle only telling me that Denise is going to be there because I'm not going? Like, if I was
Right.
going, would she
Would she
have
tell
told
me?
me that Denise is going?
Yeah.
Do you
And she
think
was
she
like,
would have?
"Guess I'll never know." I think she would have. Garcelle is kind of straight up. I think she would have told her. But it is a
Yeah.
good question. I don't think Kyle would have told.
No. Kyle's probably writing a check for Denise to show up in
Right.
the instance where Lisa can go.
Right.
So we find out that Rinna reached out to Denise a few months ago. It's just like a short text exchange of like, hey, sorry. And Denise was like, yeah, no problem. And Garcelle goes like, why didn't you say anything to us about this?
Right.
And then we cut to, or Rinna was like, yeah, it was just like, it was received well. And it was just that. It was just a nice moment. Cut to Garcelle, Queen Garcelle,
Stir in the pot.
doing, is this even doing, is she stirring the pot or is she just like on her detective shit that day?
I guess
Because,
she was on a detective shit that day. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I would do something similar. Like if someone said to me like that I knew that you weren't cool with, like if, and they're like, oh yeah, like Katie and I talked, I'd be like, hey
Yeah.
Katie.
Katie didn't tell me that. Yeah. I would have told you,
Yeah,
obviously.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
like I would let it go in that because I'm not gonna call them a liar to their face, but I would definitely turn and be like,
Wait, I
hey
heard you talk to
Katie.
this person. Yeah, of course.
Hey Katie with the microphone next to emoji next to your name because that's what I have you saved as in my phone. Did this happen?
Yeah.
So and the response that they showed us was when with all capital letters.
Yeah.
So
And
it
then
is,
Garcelle was like, "When? How many times have you spoken?" Which she
yeah.
took to mean like multiple I guess they've spoken
Yeah.
multiple times or something.
I think that they haven't spoken at all because of the
Agreed.
capital letters.
Well, Rinna posted the receipts on social media.
Oh, I was gonna ask.
She did. She did.
So
And it
Denise
was
is lying.
essentially like what Rinna said happened. If those were
Okay.
actual text messages with Denise, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, guess there is. I mean, I don't even know what to believe with like social media and Beverly Hills anymore. After that whole like that dude who can't spell
Yeah.
for shit. Like, if you're
Yes.
gonna actually hire someone to expose Lisa Rinna, at least have them like write you a 5 to 7 page or 5 to 7 sentence paragraph to see if that they can use like proper contractions and
Right.
spellings of things because it's
Right.
the goddamn internet. Like the red lines show up or Siri just fixes it for you.
Right.
Some of
It's
that
true.
stuff was so poorly spelled.
I know it's really wild.
So
The fact that this guy like wants people to think that Kathy Holden was paying him is like embarrassing.
the whole thing is
The
embarrassing.
whole
Like
thing. The whole thing.
you basically, I don't know. It's like you're just getting Reddit karma for people. I don't think anything else is
Truly,
coming of
truly
this.
that's it.
Next, we get Diana saying she's never been on a girls' trip in her life and she's felt really loved. And then
Didn't we get
Garcelle,
this from Kathy last season saying she's never been on a girls' trip?
oh yeah, she always goes with her husband, right?
Right.
And that's when she was
She
she
had the
like did something
fan.
stupid in bed.
I think she
Didn't
brought
she
the
like
fan
climb
in and
into
she kept like yeah, she was up in bed with Kyle and was like
like
reading
eating chips
like
or something?
yeah, something like that.
So Garcelle asks, like, do you like some of us more than others? And Garcelle's like, yeah, I asked her this because she would rather get stung by a jellyfish than talk to us. It's obvious.
Yeah, she doesn't want to talk to any of them. She hates them
Yeah.
all. It's like, why is
Mhm.
she there?
It's true. It's I like if you're that rich, do you need this paycheck? Like, or do you think you're getting good
Literally.
publicity for to offset your book and like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff? I don't know. Like, I
I
really want to
know.
know why she's here. Because
Me too.
to me, it feels like her people called up Bravo and were like, "Hey,
Diana wants
I
to be
have
on this show.
someone who is
Right.
interested," and I don't know. So Garcelle's like, yeah, when we brought up your book, it seemed like you didn't want to talk about it. And it felt rude to me because, like, Dorit was just trying to find out about you. You kind of shut it down. And Diana, instead of saying, like, no, it was a flop and I was called, like, a woman pimp, Instead was just like, I don't like bragging about myself. And then in a confessional was like, Garcelle is the most unwelcoming of all of them, which cannot be true.
No, that cannot be true. That cannot be true. I refuse to believe that. I refuse. Maybe in this case only because Erika wants to like clout chase and like use the benefits of being friends with her, but like otherwise I would say Erika has to be the most unwelcoming of the group.
Yeah, like when have we even really seen them talk? They were in the same group.
She's like,
when, like,
I love
Crystal
you.
cried. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
If you think it's Garcelle, like Garcelle tries to talk to her and shit, but
Right.
it's. And how does she not? I guess I don't know. She's had more conversations with Sutton. Whatever. This is not my thing to figure out.
Yeah.
If that's what you think, Diana, that's fine. You're allowed your opinions.
Sure.
Garcelle called tentacles testicles, which happens to the best of us.
Yep.
I think talking about maybe the calamari.
Who among us? Who among us hasn't called? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the last time I did, but I'm sure it's coming up.
That's happened.
We get a little Sutton Erika bonding moment. They're talking about how Sutton has a date when she goes back, and
yeah, they're showing the guy on Bumble or whatever, right?
Yeah, Sutton on Bumble is like weird to me. Why isn't she in like a higher up one?
Why are these women not using Raya? Is what I want to know.
Is
That's
that what
like the exclusive one that you have to like get accepted into if you're a famous person or like a person of notable something.
So, I mean, if Sutton's on Bumble, if Sutton can use Bumble, the rest of us can use Bumble if we need to use it.
If you need to.
I have low-key considered using like trying Bumble BFF because now that I don't play sports, that's like, how do I make friends besides saying, hey, come on my podcast? So
yeah. It's a good way to make friends.
I'm the worst though, because even though we've been talking about like this brunch that I went to today, I'm sitting here watching Love Island. I'm like, I really don't want to go. Kari, you dropped like $50 for this ticket. You have to go. But I really like this is the conversation. It's like, but I'd rather just sit here with Nitro.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
So it's like I make plans and then when they come up, I'm like, someone cancel these for me, please. Like maybe there's a fire alarm at the restaurant or maybe someone's threatened someone else's like murder and we can't go. Who knows? Like, but no, I went anyway. So yeah, that's what stops me from using Bumble BFF. I'm like, there'll be 5 minutes a day where I'm like, let's be social. And then the other not 5 minutes, I'm like, you're an idiot, Kari. Why would you do that?
Yeah, no, same. I'd be like, I would match. I guess you match with like a friend or something, and then I would just like ignore them forever and never make plans. So yeah, same.
So this is where we get Sutton saying like, yeah, I don't like her, but she's funny and I like funny people. And then this is where Dorit kind of like calls Erika and Sutton's blooming friendship out and is like, well, some people on this trip are making steps. And both Erika and Sutton, and I agree with them with this, they're like, we don't want to be pushed. Like, don't put the spotlight on us. Just let us, let us giggle in the corner. You know what I mean? Like, instead of, like Erika said, like, Lisa's mom just died. I'm not going to come here and tell Sutton she sucks every 5 minutes. Instead, like, yeah, cool. Let me move at my pace and let her move at her pace and go from there. And I agree with that. I don't want any attention.
I agree with that too.
So, like, yeah, aside from all of the Erika shit, let them live. Let them live. That's kind of like one of my sayings that I don't realize I use a lot. I'm like, it's fine. Like, live your life. Let them live. Fine by me. Doesn't affect me. Like, do your thing.
I noticed I say essentially a lot, which is very annoying. Yeah.
I've tried to lower my use of the word actually because I feel like when I use that, I'm either being a bitch or trying to minimize my own work.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So
I can see that.
I try to use actually less, where it's like, oh no, I actually did that. Where it's like, why do I have to say actually? No, I did that.
Right. Yeah, no, I did that.
So that's my adverb that I'm trying to get rid of.
Okay.
Yours is essentially. Mine is actually.
Yeah.
I had one of those like aha moments because I'm not like a outwardly like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. But I walked into a stool at Starbucks and apologized to it. And I was like, I need to not be like this.
I do the
And
same thing. I do the same
mhm,
thing. If I, like, hit an inanimate object or something, I'm the
yeah,
same way.
I apologize, and it's like, I'm apologizing to a fucking stool. My New Year's resolution a few years ago was to apologize less, and when I told people that, they thought I was being rude. I'm like, "I apologize to a stool. I'm not, like, not apologizing to people. I'm
Right.
just trying to apologize to, like, things that matter."
Right. Totally, totally. I notice something that I do often is say "we" instead of "I." Like, I give more credit to, like, a fake "we" because there's no
Mhm,
one. It's not "we," it's me. It's all me.
mhm,
But I just say, like, "Oh, yeah, we did this," or whatever, and I'm like, "No, we didn't do anything. I did it. It was me."
mhm.
And I always like I never take the right amount of credit for things that I do. I notice that.
Hmm.
So I need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
In
we
addition
have
to saying essentially a lot less.
there's so many ways we don't even realize that we as women, like, do not give
Mhm.
ourselves enough credit for shit.
It's true.
And it's just even in language, like using the word just, if you especially in writing, if you look at when you use just, you're probably minimizing what you're doing.
Oh, I do that in emails all the time.
Mhm.
All the time.
I'll write an email and then I go through and I'm like, "All right, now it's boss bitch time." And then I edit it like for that.
Yeah. Or my
Not my
exclamation points.
yeah, smiley face, whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that
It's
can
hard
be
out there.
done to make us present ourselves in with the, like, authority that we deserve.
Yep. It's true.
We've, like, lost 4, like, live listeners talking about
It's
being
alright.
strong women. Fuck
Maybe
off.
you guys should support women instead of leaving our podcast.
Yeah. Let's see. So, we've got Sutton leaving this little part of the conversation in her confessional saying, like, "I'm the bigger person and the adult here. I'm not afraid of Erika," and that scares her. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think
Okay.
it's true. I do not
I don't
think
think
it's
so
true.
either.
I don't
But if
think
it
anything about Sutton scares Erica at all.
no. No. I agree. Rinna thanks everybody for a great trip because she was hesitant about leaving her little bubble after her mother died, which I thought this was nice. And
Mhm.
then Dorit was like, I would also like to say something. And I love when they clown Dorit's
Me too.
speeches.
Me too.
So she went on forever. And at one point she goes, all I can say is, and then Kyle just like lost her shit.
Right. Which was kinda funny. I mean,
No,
I'm
very
not here
funny.
for I'm not here for Kyle generally, but it was funny.
Well, especially because like I feel most of the drama that her or Dorit and Kyle have been because Kyle is sick of listening to Dorit go on forever. So
Yeah,
the
and,
fact
like,
that it was
who's
Kyle,
not? Who's
right?
not?
Yeah. So after dinner, Kyle, Dorit, and Diana stay down in like the lobby. I don't know if there's a bar there, but everybody else goes to bed. One thing I will always respect about Kyle, because this is not me unless I'm in the exact correct mindset, is like Kyle really gets every single minute out of her vacations. She is like up
Yes.
until 4 a.m. drinking, and you never hear them being like, oh, Kyle's still in bed. Like, Kyle's up at decent times doing what everyone else is
Mhm.
doing. I don't know if she has like an IV in her room to recover or whatever. Like,
Maybe.
she might, but
It would be
Kyle is,
smart if she did.
yeah, she doesn't have a glam team. She just has like a traveling nurse.
Yeah.
And but Kyle is always good for like the late night
Yeah.
antics.
Yep. She is.
So here we get Diana bringing up her confusion, which is more of like a dislike for Sutton, and she thinks that Sutton contradicts herself a lot.
She's a
And
vegetarian that eats bacon.
yeah, says the Leo slash Virgo or whatever she thinks she
Right, right, right.
is. And Kyle thinks that when Diana is quiet, that means something's brewing. And Diana told Sutton that you only get to do this once. You only get to talk to me like this once. And she said that that Sutton is lucky that Diana did not headbutt her.
Yeah, that's, like, a wild statement.
I'm not for violence. However, a headbutt on Housewives would be wild.
I would like to see it.
Yeah, like
I would like to see it.
I wouldn't condone it, but I also
No,
wouldn't.
I would watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'd be
Controversial
like,
opinion,
wow,
maybe, but whatever.
like she wasn't lying. Diana is
Right.
a woman of her word.
Yeah, if you're gonna say it, do it.
Yeah, you better back it up.
Yeah, do it.
And the last part of this episode is back on the private jet. So getting on the plane, Diana's like, yeah, sit anywhere. So Sutton goes to sit near Diana, and Diana goes, sit in your original seats, which is like such a fucking elementary school move,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I appreciated.
So much. Yeah. She's so rude. She is so rude.
Yeah. She's not used to not getting her way.
No.
She like surrounds herself with her people, and that's it.
She doesn't know how to like put it on, which is why I don't think she's a good housewife, because
Mm-hmm.
she, as soon as Sutton like started talking to the, she like jumps in the water with the jellyfish instead of being around her. She's not good at putting it on. Tells her to sit in her original seat. I hope this is like the beginning of her giving us something though, because she's been giving me nothing this entire time.
We do get in the preview, it seems like next week's episode is when we get the line of like, you want your new villain, here I am.
Yeah, but like, is that all we're getting from her the entire season? Because that was the
Potentially.
only thing in the preview.
One of my least favorite things is when we see the best thing from the season in the
In the
preview and
trailer.
there's like nothing else.
Right.
So there's potential that that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
She has not delivered at all thus far. We're in the 7th episode.
Right. Anything else you want to say about Beverly Hills?
This season is a snooze. They advertised this season as like, oh, it's like
So good.
good. Their alliances are changing, and there's going to be people on sides that are not. And I guess we have time, but like, nothing has happened. 7 episodes in, and nothing has happened yet at all. So, ladies, let's get it together. We haven't even seen Kathy yet. We haven't met the new friend
Oh,
of
yeah.
yet. It's like, what are we doing here?
We're in Mexico.
What are we doing? Yeah, again, we're in Mexico. I feel like they go to Mexico every season. I
We're
don't know. It's just very
healing
boring.
from Dorit's home invasion.
Listen, the more time that goes by, the more I'm like, maybe this was staged by Dorit, because she's got nothing else going on. Nothing. This has to be her last season.
She shouldn't even been on this season. She shouldn't have been on the last few. She's just
Agreed.
the reason to me she's on there is just because she wears fancy labels. That's
Right.
it. She doesn't bring anything else.
Yeah, I agree. And she's the Fox Force 5 is friends.
I don't give a fuck about the
Right.
more like forget the Fox Force, whatever. Also,
Yep.
Fox Force 5. What is where's that? Sounds like
No
a
idea.
bad video game. Like
Right.
for Nintendo GameCube or something.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Apparently, she was on Watch What Happens Live this week. I could be completely wrong because I didn't watch it, but something happened where she said Lisa Vanderpump ran into her somewhere after the invasion and ignored her, which, like, can we talk about Lisa Vanderpump any more than we possibly do with these women? Like, I just don't understand. They're obsessed. Even Rinna posted about Lisa Vanderpump this week on her Instagram story. It's like, guys, just like let it go. But apparently, and again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know if this is 100% true, but apparently, like, that kind of screwed up the timeline of the invasion, because Lisa Vanderpump was like, I saw them in May or something. I'm making up May, but like, I saw them in a random month that was like 6 weeks before the invasion. So it like screwed up the timeline of, yeah, but I don't know exactly like when she said, but apparently they saw each other before the invasion, but Dorit said they saw each other after. And it's like, oh, they flubbed their own story pretty much. PK and Dorit. So it's like, well, you guys are not good at this.
I know there's a lot of things that like lean in the direction of they could be making this up.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to assume best intentions in people. If they make this up, they deserve any bad shit that happens to them.
Oh my God, the karma that will come.
Yeah, remove their kids from that statement. But like to create this whole thing so you can have a storyline, a reality TV show, stop it.
I also heard it's maybe for insurance fraud as well.
I was gonna say for money, for things
because
I
think he also just recently paid off the casino that he owed money to. He owed like a ton of money to a casino. So like, where'd you get that money from? I don't know. Was it the stuff that got stolen from your house that you submitted an insurance claim on? I don't know.
Yeah. I hope that Like, it's how fucked up is it to say, like, I hope their home actually got broken into.
It's so dark that it's like,
Right.
but
Like,
it's like
saying it out
more
loud.
dark if it's the other way. Yeah, it's very
Right.
weird. It's very weird.
There's no, like, correct thing to say with this.
No, no.
I'm sorry that any of it happened. I just hope everything that's happening is legitimate. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of home invasions, we have one, or not a home invasion, but we have like a property invasion, some
Yeah,
trespassing that
this
happened
was
in
weird.
Atlanta, which like I thought was interesting that we had like no inclination that this was going to happen.
Agreed. This was very weird.
Yeah, it was a definite surprise. So
Yeah.
let's go. Let's be bi-coastal. We're leaving
Okay.
California,
Back to the East
hopping on
Coast.
our plane at LAX with our dream in a cardigan. We're not landing there. We're getting on it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're going. We're going to the ATL.
Yeah.
We start with Sonia. I don't care. I
What a
don't care
fucking
about
snooze fest.
I don't care about Sonia not wanting another kid. And I
Neither
don't
do
know,
I.
okay, cuz I was thinking about this, Katie, in terms of like, do we not care because we are women in I'm officially mid 30s as of 4 days ago.
Mhm.
Um in our mid 30s that like
Don't have
don't have
kids.
kids are I mean, we're both in relationships, we're like not married, right? Like, is it
Right.
because we can't relate to this that we're so bored by it? Or are we right in our justification of like, this isn't what we want to see?
It's a good question. I just don't know why. It's like, okay, if they had like 5 kids and she didn't wanna have a 6th kid, then I'd be
Mhm,
like, "Okay, fine." But you have like 1 kid who like runs around and you're like, "Oh, I can't do this with this
mhm,
other kid. I can't have another kid." And I'm like, "This is like what kids do." I just like,
mhm.
what's the I don't know. Am I
Like,
supposed
how
to have
are we
sympathy for
surprised
you
by
here?
this?
Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. Like, "Oh, poor Sonia got really got her hands full with her 1 kid and her live-in parents." I just don't
And
know what I'm
sister.
supposed to and sister, like, what am I supposed to feel for you? Because I feel nothing.
Yeah. So I did think about that. It's like, is it because of like
It's a
our
good question,
personal
though.
experience that we aren't seeing it from this way? Like, I'm sure it resonates with some people out there, but the other side of that coin to me is this isn't Beverly Hills. Like, the Atlanta women are entertaining that we don't need to fill our
With a
43
fake
minutes an
story.
episode of, even if it's not a fake story, even if this is genuine, like, is this the most interesting thing going on right now? Or just pay them to get in and let me see them banter and, like, throw shade at each other, you know? Like,
Right.
I don't need this, and so I don't know if it's supposed to make Sonya feel more human because it's like, all right, here's this pretty woman who's super athletic, like has a hot former NFL player in this massive house, like whatever, that's supposed to make us be able to connect with her. Like, oh, well, she has these issues just like we all have our issues within our shit. I don't know, but I don't really want to talk about it anymore. So,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think for anybody in my real life that has 1 child who's also, like, working full time, even if they're, like, working from home or whatever, I'm not denying that having a kid is a lot of work. I don't think it's the same situation for Sonia here, and to your point, this is giving me, like, lost reference on you, but maybe a listener might hear it and understand what I'm saying, is, it's giving me Melissa Gorga and Joe Gorga trying to have another baby storyline, which is just fabricated for the show. Like, they were never gonna have another
mm,
fucking baby, and that's what Jen, said on the show. She's like, "You're too obsessed with yourself to have another kid," and, like, it just feels like it's a fake thing just to have something to talk about,
I just want to thank you for recognizing how hard it is to take care of my child, Nitro, and
right?
that I need help too. No, just
Yeah.
kidding. I hate when people call their pets their kids because
No,
I can
same.
leave my dog at home for 4 hours to go meet Jamie
Yeah.
from the real world, and no one's calling DCF on me.
Yeah, you can't do that with a baby.
Again, like, I would love to bring Nitro with me, like,
Yeah,
gladly
if you
would have brought him.
could.
He's a great bar dog, he just lays under the table, he's very content to just lay there and mind his own business, but you can't bring them in, at least in Chicago, but we were, like, right in a suburb north of Chicago, to a place
Mhm,
that, like, has food. You can bring them to a
mhm.
bar as long as they don't make their own food, so Nitro couldn't go, but,
Oh,
yeah, I can't stand when people do that shit. So anyway, here's what I'm willing to do for Sonya.
okay.
I'm going to summarize Sonya's like husband child storyline right now and then skip over it for the rest of the time. So we at
Please.
least do our due diligence so people know what's going on with Sonya in case they care more than we do, which like if you do, I'm
Sorry.
sorry for like just
Yeah.
here's my apology. I don't have sorry
Yeah.
for. I'm just sorry. So Sonya, oh, I'm back in Beverly Hills notes. Give me a second. Okay. She's not happy with Ross being away so often. She's feeling tapped out on the mom front. She doesn't want another kid. Ross does. She decides that she's going to make Ross a fancy dinner. And just kidding, her mom really made the fancy dinner.
Yep.
And then she sits down for dinner with him. And she's telling him how, like, she's tired of, like, momming by herself and wants him around. Ross says that he has to travel back and forth to Austin for the business. This is where Ross lost me a little bit. I do want to bring this one point up where he's
Okay.
like, when I was in the NFL and it was like, come on, baby, go get him, like, crush him in this game, kill it, whatever. I need that same energy from you with me for this business. It's like,
To be a
bro,
chauffeur.
like you could have that business in Atlanta. You know
Come
that,
on, baby,
right?
drive the car. Drive that car, baby. You
Yeah.
got this.
Switch lanes. Use that
Right.
mirror.
Yeah, you got it.
Like,
You got this.
put those hazards on. I was tweeting from the Cool
Check
Water
that
show
blind spot,
account.
babe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was tweeting from the live or from the Cool Water show account from during the episode a little bit, not too much. And I was just like, Rossi, these things are not the same. Like you cannot equate these things.
No.
So
No, but at the same time, Sonia does not know how to operate a stove top. So, like,
right.
what are we doing
How
here
many
with
times
both
she
of
was like
you?
ducking
She's
down to
like,
look
"Which
to
one
see if
is
the
it?" I'm like,
fire is on or whatever.
"What are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing?"
So the conclusion that happened there was basically like Sonia saying, "Listen, if you're gonna like really push another kid, that could potentially break up our marriage." And Ross saying, "Okay, well, you saying you won't have another kid will potentially break up our marriage." And that's Sonia. There we go. I'm skipping
Yep.
over. I'll come back to it when she talks to Drew at the end, but otherwise,
Mm,
I'm done with
even
Sonia.
that, snooze. That was a storyline in And Just Like That also, which was a horrible show. I don't suggest anyone watch it unless you want to hate watch because it was a really good hate watch, but, the Sex and the City reboot or whatever, that was a storyline in that show too, with 2 new characters that we don't know.
Oh, I was like, I know the title, but I
Mhm.
cannot connect what
Yeah.
it's about.
I only
Got it.
recommend it if you wanna hate watch something, but it's an
No,
entertaining hate watch.
dude, I've watched so much Love Island right now, and not that it's a hate watch, but it's definitely like a guilty watch almost. I don't need any hate watches. There's too
Yeah,
many things
it's
that I
fair.
actually genuinely want to watch, like
Totally fair.
that. No thanks. All right, so let's get into shit that matters. So we've
Done.
got Sheree, Marlo, and Candy. So
Mhm.
Sheree and Marlo make reservations for sauna, invite Candy to come because they want to talk to her about how like they don't think she's been a good friend lately. So Candy shows up and she's like, I'm not getting in the fucking sauna. I have somewhere to go after this.
Yeah. Candy, I know she's your girl, kinda lost me here a couple of times,
Hmm.
and this is one of them. I'm like, "You're here to do your job on The Real Housewives, like,
Hmm.
just come to the sauna."
I think that's like an overall bigger issue problem with Candy is that like she's juggling too much right now. Like
I
she was
agree, yeah.
going somewhere else and that's why we're not getting like the good friend Candy and like Candy breaks down during this because she's like you guys want me to be calling you and shit. I'm not even doing that for my own family.
Yeah, that's a you problem, Candy.
Right,
That's a you
which is
problem. That's not a them problem. They're expecting you to be a good friend to them because you know them for a long time, and just because,
mhm,
like, it's not right to have other people expect less of you because you're busy. Like, you need to be
mhm.
able to prioritize. Otherwise, you gotta cut something out. You're not being a
That
good housewife either, Candy, I have to tell you right now. I'm not here for you this season. As much as I do enjoy her. I'm sorry, Carrie.
it's okay. I mean like all of them have their ups and downs. Um I also think the other side of that is just like use your words before it gets too late. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, like the thing with Sheree and Candy, I know I've said it. I see both sides. I'll accept the Sheree side of like, okay, you knew, so reach out, right?
Yep.
But clearly, like, we saw earlier in the season, her and Todd, like, Todd saying, like, we want you around more. You're doing so much. You're flying here for this and you're home for this and you're doing that. Like, you're so busy. If those are your girls, then also, like, just by letting them in on that, you alleviate the
Yeah.
problems here. Because if it seems like she's not, if it seems like everything is perfect at home or whatever, and they don't
Yeah.
know that, like, she's got all that turmoil going on, then you do expect, if, like, okay, like, you're happy with your husband, your kids, all that's going good, like, you should be able to give us some time. But I
Yeah.
mean, it takes a quick phone call or text message of just like, I'm underwater right now. So I've been, like, MIA. I
Yeah.
promise I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah. It's all about the communication.
Yeah.
And I feel like that Candy is not communicating
The
with
thing that
anybody.
kind of, yeah, I think she owes it to Sheree. I
Yeah.
think she owes it to Kenya, but I also think that her and Kenya have, like, more similar views on what they need out of friendship, where Kenya
Yeah.
wants you to show up, Candy's good at showing up. And I think Candy also views good friendship as showing up, where Sheree wants you checking in. Like,
Yeah.
um so I think that, like, that could also be a disparity in just, like, what is good friendship for them.
Yeah. I think if I put myself in Sheree's shoes, I think showing up for Sheree in this moment would be like checking
A
in
phone
with
call.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because like
absolutely.
obviously what happened with Tyrone was very public at the time
Yeah.
and there were pictures and blogs and stuff like that. And like for Candy, who has known Sheree the longest out of anybody in this whole
Mhm.
cast, to just not say anything to her at all, to even send her a text message and be like, oh my God, I saw the pictures or whatever. It kind of is a little bit like, this girl's not showing up for me. Like, she doesn't even
Mhm.
care. This is a public embarrassment. And she knows I left Candy's trip in New York to go to Philadelphia to meet Tyrone. She doesn't even check in and say, like, how is Tyrone? Even if she didn't know about the blog, like, it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
And Candy kind of, like, lashes out at them, being like, you guys don't do this for me either, which again
yeah,
is if Candy says to them, hey, I'm underwater in every single part of my life right now. I'm
yep,
not doing good at anything. They don't know to check in, because I also think
right.
that Candy, because I want to say Candy carries, and then I almost said Carrie candies, which, like, I don't candy anything. I can't cook for shit. So Candy carries herself in a way where, like, I think you really need to be tuned in with her to
Yeah,
know that shit's off, because she's, like, so prideful and
yes,
gets shit done and is so busy and has all these successes that, like, if you don't know, if she doesn't have a public freak out in a sauna in a very nice dress, that,
yep,
like, she feels so overwhelmed by everything that she needs those check-in phone calls as much as they want them from her, and so no one's getting anywhere and, like, is just frustrated. So
yes. Agreed. And I'm a little bit like Candy in this sense. Like, I can relate to her here because I'm not like super open about like if I'm overwhelmed or if I need
mhm.
support in a lot of ways. Like, I just kind of like keep a wall up and deal with it on my own. Like, I'm very much like that. But I also don't lash out at people if they're coming to me being like, you're not being a good friend. Cause
Yeah.
like, I know that I have like my own shit going on and I'm overwhelmed and like maybe I'm not as present, but I'm not gonna like be like, this is so annoying right now. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that because I'm bad at communicating that myself. So I'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, you're right. I'm not being a good friend right now. I'm not communicating with you about what's going on in my life.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, like, can't Marlo and Trey both say, like, they'll be better, and like, trying to encourage Candy to say that she'll be better. I think it just comes from, like, actions after that.
Yeah.
Um,
This
so
bothered me a
hopefully,
little bit with Candy though, because I felt like she really didn't take any accountability for like not being there for Sheree. She just kind of was like, this is so annoying. I'm not there for anybody. And it's kind of like,
mhm.
but that's not Sheree's problem. Like that why are they apologizing to you and being there for you when you're like yelling at them?
Candy, though, historically is good at blowing up in the moment and then
Yeah.
later on, like, processing and having the conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
And so, like, this didn't surprise me, but I'll be more surprised if she doesn't, like, have lunch with Sheree soon and be like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's talk. So for me, like, obviously I'm not going to be out on my girl, but
No, I know.
I get everything you're saying. I just think that it's like very likely that we see Candy call Marlo on shit later. And that is something I want to bring up here. Like, to me, it feels like Marlo's kind of jumping on a bandwagon, like Sheree's bandwagon. Like, she's kind of being Sheree's mouthpiece, because
She is,
I don't think Marlo really has the like reasoning or evidence to be upset with Candy like Sheree is. Like, Sheree is valid in her feelings, in my opinion. I think Marlo is just like, I think Marlo is trying to orchestrate conversations and be involved, but like, it's not necessarily her place to be in this at the moment.
Agreed. I agree.
So, I mean, we do see Candy like try to call Marlo on shit later, but then she obviously had to leave, and from the dropping it with Drew stuff. But yeah, I think Candy's got a little bit of work to do this season to be back in like the place she normally is.
Yeah.
Oh, get to skip this part because it's about Sonia. Cool. Next is Sheree on the phone with her new project manager for She by Sheree. So got some excitement going there. Then we check in with,
I have to say, I checked the website. There's nothing for sale still on the website.
So that website, that domain's been up for like 10 years.
Yeah, we're paying for the real estate on the internet, and there's nothing there. So,
well, didn't she say spring, summer, or September? So we haven't met the September deadline yet.
yeah,
It's only been summer.
She also never specified what year. So
yeah, it's true. It could be September 2026.
It's true.
Who knows? She did have some prototypes later in the episode.
She did.
Mm-hmm. So next we check in with Marlo. She says the boys have been acting up since their call with their mom, that she called their older sister, and she even says to the kids, like, our whole family is messed up and everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
She's in a tough spot here. I feel bad for her.
Me too. And I feel bad for those kids, and I just feel like there's no winning, unfortunately. It's just a really sad situation. Very sad. And it's sad for Marlo too, because I feel like this is such like a trend. Obviously, she went through this with her mom, and now those kids are going, like, her nephews are going through it with their mom. It's just like it's very sad.
I do hope that those kids are in therapy.
Me too.
Because therapy is great. So I hope that they're being taken care of in the way that they need to. Like, obviously Marlo's doing her best, but there's stuff that she can't do. And hopefully she's supplementing what that is.
Yeah.
All right. So next we are making candles with Candy. It is Kenya and Candy's friend Manyetta.
Yep.
Manyetta.
Yep. I guess she's our new friend of.
Okay. I mean,
I didn't know we had a friend of coming, but it seems like she is one.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because we've lost a lot of the friends of this season. Like, Marlo's been moved up. Tanya stopped coming to things after she had sex with the stripper last season.
Yeah.
What about Portia's friend? That's sometimes Candy's friend. Shamia, is that her name?
Shamia. Yes, Shamia.
Yeah, like we've lost a lot of our friends of, so I can see why we're stocking up.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenya had one too, and she was kind of crazy last year. Okay, so anyway, we've got they're making candles. I'm like, they're doing something with scents. I didn't know what they were doing at the beginning and like till the end. I'm like, what is going on? It's just like, smell this. I thought Candy was like trying to make a perfume or something.
So did I.
That's what I thought was having Kenya and her friend come to be like, oh, does this smell good? So then when it like turned out to be candles, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
So when Kenya gets there, she tells Candy how Marlo was complaining about Candy when she wasn't there, saying that like the used clothes weren't good enough and all this stuff. And Candy says that, or tells Kenya and Manyetta, I have to keep checking her name, Manyetta, about how Marlo came at her with a lot of mess about not calling her enough. And notice, like, she didn't bring up Sheree during any of this. She just said Marlo.
Right.
Which to me is Candy's first step in like, Sheree is justified, but Marlo is not.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like we're gonna get a Candy, especially like not to jump too far ahead, but it looks like we get a little bit more Tyrone next episode.
Mhm.
And so it would be a great place for Candy to jump in, and especially because it seems like it comes out in the blogs of like, hey, I saw this and
Yeah.
take action on it. So maybe my girl
I
will come through.
Yeah, I hope so. But I also do think Marlo's going through a lot too.
Yeah, she absolutely is. And we talked about that last time. Like,
Yeah.
I think she's projecting a ton.
Yeah. So like I know she also talked to Candy about like how do I be a good mom for these kids? Like
Yeah.
it is something that she has reached out to Candy about to get advice on. Candy does know the situation, maybe not as up to date. And I don't remember if she talks about it later at the Drop It with Drew or I think she talked about it at the
In the
sauna
sauna. Yeah, but
about
she
like
like
you don't
tells
know
her.
what happened. So it's like even after that, you're still not validating what Marlo is saying when she's going through a very hard time right now with her
Yeah.
family and trying to raise these boys. Like
Mhm.
that's rough on Candy to me. Like give her a little bit of grace. I know Marlo's not always the easiest, but like she's really dealing with a lot. A very deep and dark, like sad situation.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason why Marlo is projecting a bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it also like doesn't help that the phone call she's talking about happened while Candy was in LA.
Right.
So it hasn't been like we don't know obviously how much time and stuff that
Mhm.
there's been. So like Candy doesn't know that stuff either. So it's just like a lot of things that I wonder if within this group they expect like, okay, I've told one person, so everyone's gonna find out.
Yeah.
And so like you've clearly heard this, now fucking call me type of thing. I do
Right.
wonder if they kind of like expect it to work that way. Cause
Yeah.
in a way it kind of does.
Yeah, it kind of does. And I don't know. I didn't feel as much like sympathy from Candy toward Marlo's situation that
No.
maybe I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, I don't think there was as much towards Marlo. And like clearly there isn't because she brings this up like Marlo came at me, like, well, Sheree did too, but
Right.
um I don't know. There's definitely some sort of discrepancy, I think, in like how much Candy values the relationship with Marlo and Marlo
Yeah.
values the relationship with Candy. Like to me, it kind of feels like Candy still sees Marlo in a way of like, yeah, we've been in this same group for a while, but like we've never really been friends.
Right.
We've been like cordial. And now Marlo is a peach holder and it's like, no, we're friends. Like we're friends by
Right.
contract now. So like be a better friend to me.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. If I feel like there is something not being verbalized, maybe on Candy's end, which tracks with what we've been saying.
Yeah.
That like, why is this bothering you more than like Sheree saying something? I don't know. It's all just sit down, and also it's like the 2-on-1s don't help either. You know, like
No, they don't.
it's all been groups of 3 lately. Like Sheree and Kenya sat down 1-on-1 last
Yeah.
week.
And they worked it out.
That was settled within 5 minutes.
Very productive conversation over a omelet.
Have you made a omelet yet?
No, I don't have a waffle iron. So I will never make a omelet.
Valid.
I will
Valid.
order one if I'm out. If
See
I
if
come
they'll
across one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to Atlanta. The great we're gonna do our own Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Just
Oh my
I
god.
do actually really wanna go eat at, like, Candy's restaurants, though.
OLG. Mm.
Yeah, I do want to. That's on a short list of things to accomplish, not
Hmm.
joking. In
Yeah,
hopes
I
that
think
I
that would be
run
worth the
into
trip.
Candy one day. Maybe even Todd. I'll take just, like, Todd, FaceTime Candy for me, let me say what's up. I'm collecting videos of reality TV stars on my phone. So, let's see. So Candy says to these women, like, neither of them call her about stuff, but we've talked about this, so we don't need to keep going into that. And then this is where Kenya and Manetta both say, like, Candy's good at showing up for things.
Yeah.
And so Kenya has her back in that way. But they talk about the vibrating underwear situation, and Manetta kind of serves as like a voice of reason here, which
Yeah.
was nice, where she was like, I was on your side until you said someone else could control it.
Yes. It's
Mm-hmm.
just wild to me that Candy does not understand why this is not okay. It does not make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make
And
sense.
And then
And she's like,
Kenya,
"You're talking about sex in front of my husband." It's like, these are not the same thing. These are not the
yeah,
same thing. I don't know why you are equating, like, doing all these false equivalencies. Nothing is the same as, like, you giving a gift of vibrating underwear and giving the controller to someone else's husband without the women knowing. That's weird.
mhm,
It's weird.
yeah. And then Kenya kept going. What'd you think of this? Because I feel like we haven't heard this complaint
About the
yet
woman and the
about,
boobs
yeah, like,
and the tape
yeah,
and yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's midday and Kenya does have a 4-year-old daughter, however old
mhm,
Brooklyn is. It's like a little maybe inappropriate,
mhm,
but like I also have to think in terms of reality television. Like if someone showed up to my well, I don't have kids, so it's a little different. But I don't know. I
cats,
mean, like
cover
I
your
could see.
eyes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Cats, put your paws up. I don't know. It's yeah, I don't think I would be thrilled if someone showed up to my house like that uh in the middle of the day
Yeah,
with no warning.
right. Candy still thinks that Kenya is acting like she is above all of this. But
I just
they
think
are
there's a
just,
time and a place.
yeah. It seems like this will be the last time we hear about it, though.
I
It
hope
does.
so.
There was a comment made like we're good at disagreeing and moving on from it,
Yeah.
and that's that. They bring up the Drop It with Drew event, so Manyetta's gonna come too, and we're all gonna go see Drew's new empire being created. I did feel bad for like the candle girl during all this because
The
like
candle
they
girl
were
was
like
like,
yelling.
yeah, and like
Did
the
you see
editors
the
at the
step
bottom was
3?
like
Yeah.
pause 3 between arguing or something
Yeah.
like that. It was very
Step
funny.
3.
It was very
Wait
funny.
for arguing to finish or
Yeah,
something.
that was
Yeah,
very funny.
they're
These
good.
editors are so shady. They're
Yeah,
shady again later as well, I think, too.
probably. It doesn't end. I did, and maybe it's because I'm a Candy fan, did appreciate when Kenya smells her candle, and Kenya's like, "Oh, that smells good," and Candy goes, "It's called Candy's pussy."
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. See, that's the time and place. It's a funny joke. Like, I just
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
I laughed at that. All right, so we get to Drop It with Drew. We have been waiting for this. This is not the website. This is a real live thing that
Live
definitely 3
thing.
days ago was not somewhere where you went and got COVID tested, because
Hilarious.
that's what it looked like.
That was
Candy was like,
hilarious.
um, it it looks like it could be a legit business, but it does not look like it's a legit establishment. This 3 days
Right,
ago looks like,
right. And we got the flashback to
yeah.
whatever it was 3 days ago. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
very
was like a
funny.
fat loss place. It did genuinely look like at least the places in Chicago where you go and get COVID tested.
Yeah. Anywhere in New York where you can go, it's like any like people like whoever does COVID testing in New York, they just like it's kind of like the Halloween stores. They just like take
Yeah,
over any empty business
yeah.
and they just like pop something in. It's like a very quick pop in, pop out.
The first time I got COVID tested, my boyfriend was like, "Yeah, they're doing it like behind this school." And so I'm trying to find it online and I can't find anything about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I went 2 weeks ago. It's real." I'm like, "I'm seeing nothing on the internet. Like, I'm not going and getting shit shoved up my nose by things that's not legit." And when
Yeah.
I say that you had to wait in an alley and then like you sat down on a fold out chair in the side
Oh, I
parking
believe
lot
it.
of like a private elementary school, wild.
I believe it. I believe it.
So, I like
We have
crying.
tents on the middle of the street where you can just walk up to a rando and just be like, stick
Yeah,
that thing on my nose. And you
yeah.
just trust that you're gonna get I've always got my test results back. So
All right.
who knows what else they're doing with my DNA, but
Yeah.
it's free.
They thought 23andMe was where they
Right,
where you
exactly.
shouldn't be doing it if you wanna
Right.
commit crimes. Nope, don't get COVID
Mhm.
tested either.
Right. Do a rapid test.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Candy, Sheree, Marlo, Sonia all there, and, um, I do have a question. So Marlo was driving up with Sonia and Sheree. The interior of Marlo's car, to me, is ugly as fuck, but I fully admit that I hate the color orange. So she has this like very nice black car, and then her seats are like a lime orange almost. Like it's a
Oh, like a
bright
neon?
orange. Yeah, it's like,
I didn't notice it.
oh, I
I'll have to go
did.
look back. I love a
It's
neon orange though, I will say.
I to me it just looks like, I don't know. I just hate orange. I'm not a fan of the color orange. Um, I stand. I will die on the hill that if your favorite color is orange, like you've got issues. You got
No, it's
issues.
weird. I don't know anybody whose favorite color is orange, but I do like
Oh,
a
I
neon,
do.
like an orange highlighter. I like that.
Mhm.
Like, I'll choose an orange highlighter if I have an option. It's just different.
I tend to avoid orange at almost all costs unless it's like absolutely needed. I went to high school with a
Interesting.
girl who was afraid of the color orange. So
No,
our
she wasn't.
chairs
I promise you.
were no, no. I saw this girl have a full-blown panic attack. I'm not even joking. The first day of school, senior year, because our desks, the chairs were either yellow or this like dull orange, and it was a full class AP Psych. She's the last one in, and there's 3
Was
desks
she
left.
like someone you guys were studying in AP Psych,
I mean, she should have
or
been. She should have been.
yeah, I think
That whole
so.
year was actually like it could have been a case study for something. And she had a full-blown panic attack being like, I cannot sit in any of these chairs. I cannot sit on an orange chair. It was just wild. It was absolutely wild. Like in front of the class the first day. I wish our teacher was like, this is what we call boo. Like
Right.
use it to teach it. It
Your
was
teacher should have
crazy.
been like, actually sit up here for a second. Sit right at the
Yeah.
head of the class.
Yeah, yeah.
We have some teaching to do.
We're gonna pause. Let's talk about
Yeah.
this thing that just happened. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you feel like going back and looking at the inside of her car, it's a bright orange. It's not like bright bright though. It's like a dull bright. I don't know. That's like oxymoronic. Whatever. You're gonna have to see it, and you can judge whatever
Okay.
color you want it to be.
Okay.
So Candy notices that Marlo walks by and doesn't say hello to her. So Candy thinks that she ignored or that Marlo ignored her. Sheree shows up, and Sheree has some She by Sheree
Yes,
leggings
she
that make her
does.
ass look nice. Like
Yep.
that is not objectifying. That is an observation. That
Yeah.
is an objective observation.
Yep.
Um, the yoga mat and the water bottle, they're all prototypes.
Yep.
Candy really wants some of the leggings. So there's at least prototypes this September. Check the
Yep.
website. Then we cut. This is one of the last 2 times I'm going to mention Sonia. Sonia goes to Ralph and is asking Ralph for advice about her marriage.
Yeah, that's a choice.
Ralph.
That is a choice. One that I would not make, personally.
I wish I could feature my own tweet where I've tweeted that I would rather ask my dog for advice than this dog. Got him.
Got him. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It got like 2 likes. It's fine.
It's a good one.
Thank you. I thought it was too. So yeah, I just was like, what is this? Ralph of all people in that establishment? There's so many people in that room, and you go to
Literally
Ralph?
choose anyone. Choose anyone else. Anyone else.
Anybody else. Wild.
I'm out on Sonia.
Same.
Fully. I was in at the beginning.
Mhm.
She like peaked, and then now her like it's like her she's like cryptocurrency right now. She's just like dropping.
She's doing like too much Drew stuff for me where it's like trying to
Yeah.
make shit out of nothing.
Yeah.
Or like bad, just not interesting storylines. But
Yep.
so Candy mentions to Marlo, like, yeah, I saw you ignoring me. Marlo denies it, but then they like start the class, and at this point, Todd gets a phone call while Drew is like announcing their like biggest losers, but not in a bad way. Like the people that have
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And he like taps Candy and is like, we gotta go. So we find out that someone like jumped the gated fence for their community and then got onto their property and sat on Candy's like front porch.
Uh-huh.
And her babysitter thought that it was like Amazon dropping something off. And then when she realized, like, no, they're just chilling there, she's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm here for Candy Burris. I'm T.I.'s son. Candy Burris told me to
Did he
come
say something about
here.
Beyonce too?
I didn't hear Beyonce. I saw T.I.'s son.
I thought something about like Beyonce and then coming to get Candy Burris. I don't know. I thought I heard that, but maybe not.
I didn't. You could be right.
I could also
But I
be
know
wrong.
he said he was T.I.'s son and that like he's here to write a song with her. And he wasn't. Or I mean, like, at
Yeah.
least. So the babysitter made him leave, go back over the fence or whatever. And Then the cops came and he's like not allowed on this property anymore. But yeah, so they leave. They go on the parking lot and they're like on the phone with the cops, Todd specifically. He's like, no, I don't know this person. Like,
This was a very casual cop, by the way.
yeah. Yeah.
Sounded like just a regular person.
I mean,
cops are regular people, but you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it sounded like a very casual conversation.
I think the good part of it is this was like a black male who was doing this. And so the cop not overreacting is like,
Yeah.
I'll take that as an
That's
okay
true.
sign.
That's true. Very true.
So, yeah, we hear Todd being like, no, what was her name? Like Katrina's family. She has the right to do whatever, like listen to her. If she says do it, do it. And once the phone call hangs up, he explains everything that I just explained. But all the women had come outside because they saw Candy like
run out.
Just basically. Run out. Yeah. So all the women are out there and they're like, okay, cool. As long as like everything seems to be okay. So Candy leaves to like check in on her kids and stuff, which Dorit did the opposite. Dorit went and drank with her friends. So
it's true. Sad, but true. No, it's true. Dorit's like, oh, my kids are at home with the babysitter. My house just got invaded 24 hours ago. Less than. Oh, I gotta go to Kyle's house.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gotta meet PK there because let's meet at Kyle's house first versus okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
instead of meeting me at home, I don't know.
So back inside, we see the women exercising. Marlo does not like the exercise. She says, "I get lipo instead of this." Isn't that what Drew did? And then Sheree says, "I see
Isn't
Drew
that what Drew did? Is
exercise."
So funny.
And Sheree goes, "Drew looks like a busted can of biscuits."
That is maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life, honestly. One of the funniest things I think I've ever heard.
Yep. Sheree just fucking, like, that's coming up undisputedly at the reunion. There's no way that doesn't. No way. Absolutely no way. So, yeah, the exercise, like, you've got the Olympian doing all the stuff of, like, the rolling and the push-ups and this and that, and, like, Drew is not. Sheree is trying her best. Yeah. Marlo is just not trying. She hates her life right now. Kenya shows up late because she had something with Brooklyn, and she just kind of like goes straight to the snack table, which, girl, I feel you. I love a snack table. It's hard to keep me away from a snack table. So, after the exercise portion, Drew brings up the business partner. I didn't catch her name, but the business partner essentially explains, like, yeah, I've been doing this for 5 years, and now that we're in Atlanta, like, Drew is the face of Atlanta one. So the women find out that, like, Drew didn't really start this. It's more been like an established thing that Drew is
she's like the face of it.
Yeah. So we kind of get our like resolution to, is Drew an entrepreneur? Does she have a lot to do here?
No. Promotion? That's about it.
Invite the women over for like the microwave meals or whatever.
Right. But this is all Sonia wanted.
Yeah.
I feel like she feels like redeemed. She's like, oh, this is all I needed to know. And it's like, why'd you need, who even cares?
Yeah, like what, how does this affect you?
Right. It doesn't.
So then Drew kind of like chirps back though at She by Sheree. She's like, okay, well, like my website works. You guys told me
like your website. This is not your business. Like, this is this other lady's business.
Yeah. And well, business with air quotes around it because we really haven't like got off the ground yet. Oh, you mean business for
the other lady.
The other lady. She by Sheree.
The other lady. Like Drew was like
She by Sheree.
No, Drew is basically like in the same boat as She by Sheree right now.
She does have a product. It's inside of Halloween Spirit or whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you go to like the back door and there's like an old like witch costume bunny, like the ones that no one wants. Yeah. So then here is our friend of making her first real appearance in the drama landscape of it all, right? Monyetta. She brings up Candy when Candy's not around, being like, yeah, we talked to her a couple days ago. And she basically said that, like, I don't know, Marlo, you're kind of coming for her. And then Kenya steps up because she's like, yes, I did tell Candy things. And they said that they talked about Sheree and Marlo, but the conversation focused on Marlo. And Candy says that, or Kenya said that Candy realized how Marlo is also not a great friend to her. And Marlo then turns this on Kenya. This quickly
Yeah.
goes from, which, to be fair, it never should have been about Candy in the first place. Like, Monyetta, I don't think you're making the right move
You're like,
there
why are you
by
speaking for Candy when Candy's not here? It's weird.
right. Especially like in this time and moment when someone may or may not have been trying to break into her
Yeah.
house.
Also,
Like,
who the fuck are you?
yeah.
Who the fuck are you? You just came in out of nowhere 10 minutes ago on the show and you're starting all this shit. Who are you?
If there is one cast that does not need help in addressing the issues
It's
without
these ladies. Yeah.
yeah, it's them. They got it under control.
Yep.
So then now we get Marlo and Kenya going back and forth. So Marlo says Kenya is purposely hurting her. And so Marlo replies to things that Kenya, I can't even really hear what Kenya's saying through all of this. She just is like yelling. And I can hear more
Yeah.
of what Marlo is saying, which is
Yeah.
more the like, oh, why didn't you tell Mark that you were perfect? Like, clearly you're not,
Yeah.
and your ass is
Yeah.
fake and all this stuff. And you need to learn how to keep a man, which is a rich comment coming from someone who's currently single,
Yeah.
but whatever. And Marlo kind of steps to her. Kenya's like, get out of my face, get out of my fucking face, and like putting
Yeah.
her hand in her face, which is like classic Kenya move of I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, but
Yep.
I'm giving you every right to snap on me. And then when you do, I'm gonna be like, I didn't fucking touch you. She's the crazy bitch here.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
antagonize this at all. But I love Kenya. So,
No, I love
Kenya,
Kenny too. This is
just one of
very
them things.
like I feel like we have a little bit of a double standard here with like Candace from Potomac doing this to Monique and people kind
Yeah.
of sticking up for Monique, being like, well, you provoked her. Where Kenya obviously provoked Portia and has provoked other people.
Mhm.
And people like don't really blame Kenya, which like I agree, like you shouldn't put your hands. I'm not saying Kenya should be blamed for that. I
Mhm.
think Portia is in the wrong, obviously. But it's just interesting how Candace doesn't get that same grace that Kenya gets in some of these
Yeah.
scenarios.
No, I agree with you. I also wonder if like Kenya's longevity has
Yeah.
something to do with it, you know?
Well, that was an early season for her, right?
Yeah,
Like season, what, like her second or third season?
true.
First
I,
season?
I don't think it was the first with
No, I don't
the
think it was the first. No, definitely wasn't. Because Portia was still with Cordell in her first season.
yeah. So it was either like the second or
Second or
third.
third. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenya kind of leaves, gets escorted, pushed out of the
Mhm.
establishment, but then Marlo follows her, and that's where I think like Marlo just stay inside, like let this go.
Yeah. I
We're
also
if
think both
you
of these women have like too much to lose here to be like
yeah,
doing this with the hands and stuff. Like, Marlo, you are the sole caretaker of these children.
true.
Let's like think about that. Kenya, you have Brooklyn. Let's think about that. Like, don't give Mark any ammo. Like, you guys both have too much going on to be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially from so many people. Like obviously
Right.
there's cameras there for the job, but then there's like those cameras are going to be producing things that come out months later. There's people there with cameras that are going to put it on TikTok in 3 to 5
Right.
minutes.
Right. Totally. Totally.
So Kenya leaves, Marlo follows her. Marlo says that every time she turns around, Kenya is coming for her in a figurative way, not literal.
Yep.
Although right now it does kind of seem literal. And then they kind of separate. So like Kenya gets in her car and leaves. Marlo is still there, and she goes, "I won't say anything about your children, your mother, or your husband
And then they
when
go
we're
back.
fighting." They show her doing all
That's where
three.
I was saying they were shady. And that was like 10 minutes ago, husband.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
So
In what world? In what world? What is Marlo thinking here? In what world?
right, right. Like
Wild.
this fight doesn't need to happen. I like when they're on the same side. However,
Yeah.
they clearly need to figure their shit out. And I think Kenya was standing up for things that she believes in this. I think Marlo is less standing up for things she believes in and more trying to protect Sheree.
Yeah.
Like, where I feel like Kenya's stuff kind of comes from the, like, the hand-me-downs. Like, why are you so bad on the I was raised on hand-me-downs. Like, you know what? I've seen you not be a good friend. Like, and the shit talking and that stuff, where I feel like Marlo is more fighting fights for other people right now.
Yeah.
Like, she's finding herself in these situations because she is fighting for other people.
Yeah.
So TBD on how this relationship pans out, but we know that, like, once you get on Kenya's bad side, it's pretty hard to move over. And same thing with Marlo in a way. So I'm sure we've got, like, enemies for the rest of the season.
I think so.
We get a quick check-in with Candy, and dude left peacefully. He's gone. Hopefully, like, that never happens again. And then we cut back.
Babysitter was wearing gloves, which I thought was weird. Like, were those rubber gloves? Like, what was happening?
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on, but maybe they were like cooking or something. Like,
weird.
I don't know.
Seemed weird.
I've seen people use gloves when they cut things like peppers and stuff, so they don't like rub their eyes after. Because that's something dumb that I've done. And
easy
will
to
I
do.
wear gloves? No, I don't have any. But yeah, so I'll just not cut peppers instead.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I did notice the gloves as well.
Yeah, I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. During COVID, maybe that's like the precaution or something.
Yeah, no masks, but gloves for sure.
It was during the time when we thought that, like, by touch, that's where it spread. I was thinking about that, like, yesterday or the day before, because as a former public school teacher, our air filters, like, our air purifiers, like, barely worked, right? We needed, like, the ones that they gave us, we needed like 3 or 4 for the classrooms that we were in, right? We had 1. And it took them like 4 months to change the filter the first time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But they made sure that we were supplied with like wipes and like disinfectant spray, where it's like, this is an airborne thing.
Right.
Like, this is all for show to make it seem like it's safe to be here. But as we had to like sit with the windows open during the middle of winter, that was fun. Oh God, I miss teaching so much. Anyway, the last segment is we're back at Drop It with Drew. Sonia apologizes for ganging up on Drew, and she says that she'll bring things up with Drew immediately instead of waiting on it. Then she tells Drew that Ross isn't happy with only having 1 child, and this is where Drew says, you gotta have another kid for your man. And again, why are we taking relationship advice from Drew and or Ralph?
I can't with this whole conversation. Like, I can't. I just can't. I can't.
Drew says it's about making your husband happy, and Sonia says, well, what about Ross making his wife happy? And that's where it ends, thankfully.
It's a great question.
Literally, Drew will never be happy in her relationship.
No, but it seems like all she cares about is making Ralph happy, and Ralph's not happy either. So
Ralph sucks. I don't need Ralph.
Sucks. Drew sucks. They all suck.
Those 4 can go and do their own thing.
I don't need any of them.
I'll keep the rest of them for sure. So that's the end of the Atlanta episode. We get some previews of like Tyrone saying that the reason he's like back in trouble with the law is because of Real Housewives and the cameras and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think so, sir.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I'm sure that reality TV put you in jail, where they have cameras to make sure that they can like film every single movement of what you're doing.
And you haven't been on camera at all, so
right. There was other stuff. That was really the only thing I remember from the preview.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should remember some of these things. I don't
either.
It's okay. It's fine. It'll leave. Do you think we're going to have an episode next week? It's 4th of July weekend.
Oh, good question. Probably not.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be 2 weeks until we see
that's
these.
Frustrating.
These
I feel like we had another break for Memorial Day weekend, and that's annoying to me.
Because Beverly Hills doesn't stop.
Yeah. Can we stop Beverly Hills just like permanently and just have Atlanta? Because I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. So that means next week we'll get to talk about just Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, our Hug Tugged, which if you have watched the first 3 episodes and did not listen to episode 24 of the Cool Water Show, then you missed out on us talking about the first 3 episodes there. We did
Yep.
it exclusively just because that was like a lot of fucking
A
television.
lot.
I did think of something that I wanted to bring up to you, so I do
Oh,
want to bring it up now.
sure.
I fucking lost it when you know how they got their like welcome boxes and there was cupcakes with their faces on it?
Yes.
And Vicky goes to Tamra, "I'll eat yours and you eat mine." And
Yeah. Yeah.
Tamra, without missing a beat, goes, "That's kind of weird. That's like what Brandy and Denise do."
Yeah. That was pretty funny. The one thing
It
I wanted to bring up to you, which I thought about after the fact, so I'm glad we're talking about this, is when they were getting their pedicures by the pool and Phaedra came out and Eva was like, I knew you were going to give me nipples today. And Phaedra was like, I've got big nipples. I've got big nipples. And it just made me laugh so hard. Matt was cackling out loud when he just keeps saying, I've got big nipples all weekend since watching. Because Eva was like, I love an areola. And she's like, I've got
Mhm.
big nipples. And that really made me laugh.
It's also the way Phaedra just speaks in general with like
Yes.
that it's not so much a southern drawl as you would like have a stereotypical one in your head,
Mhm.
but it is a southern drawl nonetheless.
Yes, yes.
And the way that she's able to say that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hilarious.
So I'm glad we brought up 2 very worthwhile content heavy
Mhm.
things there,
Yep.
nipples and eating each other out. So cool.
Mhm.
Um, great. Uh, anything from the internet we need to talk about housewives wise? I won't lie to you, I've been on the Love Island subreddit more than anything else because
Oh.
I funny enough, spoilers getting me in trouble again, that I just like to know what's happening. And so the fact that
Yeah.
I was on like episode 12 and then like I wanted to like search something about someone, but then I would see like, oh, blah 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 happened with blah blah blah. I'm like, well, this hasn't happened for me yet. So then I obviously click on it. So like
Of course.
then I'm just,
Yeah.
balls deep in the Love Island subreddit. And so I haven't really been paying attention to the Real Housewives world.
Uh, understandable. I don't think there's anything really of note other than Rinna posting the receipts from Denise. I think she did like an AMA or something and someone asked her if the Fox Force 5 was actually friends and she was like, "Yeah, we bonded over hating Lisa Vanderpump," which is why I was like, these ladies love bringing links. Like, we need to
Yeah.
stop bringing up Lisa Vanderpump. This is getting ridiculous. But that's really it. I don't think there's been too much I don't think there's been too much. At least that I've
Okay.
seen. There's probably is, but I haven't seen much of it.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then we can wrap this week up
All
and
right.
um, do our weekly question of Katie. The internet's a big place. Where can the people find you on it?
Yes, it is a big place. You can find me on it at Real Slim Katie on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Real Slim Katie with an underscore at the end. I'm going to keep it brief tonight because I'm yawning a lot and I'm thirsty. You can also check me out on Silent Podcasts in so many places. Well, actually, not that many places right now, other than the Cool Water Show. And we just finished our Obi-Wan coverage. We recorded our final episode last week for the finale. And we have a bunch of a bunch of complete coverage of real world New Orleans homecoming called Stop Being Polite, which is really great. We had Kari and I had a conversation with Melissa, which you guys probably already know about by now if you listen to us. So I won't go too deep into it, but if you're not watching that show, you should be. And if you're not watching that show and also listening to our coverage of it, then you should be. I think that's it.
There
We have
is
a lot of other stuff coming up, but
yes.
right now it's like a little bit of a lull. So
July
we'll
6th
tell you
is
when we
a
get
big
there.
yeah, July 6th is
Big
a
day.
big date in reality
Big
TV
day.
land.
Mhm.
There is also a chance that you'll get one last episode of Stop Being Polite based off of meeting Jamie today. So he was at my brunch and he was super cool. I really enjoyed talking to him. If you listen to our podcast, we were like, do we want to? And after like a 20-minute conversation, Jamie told me some shit. And
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna say here, but I would love for Jamie to come on. He said he would. We've already exchanged emails, so hopefully that happens soon. Otherwise, find me KGD26. You could see I'm trying to be more active on Instagram, so I put up a couple pictures from today from the
Yes.
brunch. It just seeing Brad's face alone is worth it in my opinion. But I'm also Twitter right now. I'm like tweeting a lot of Love Island stuff. So if that annoys you, mute Love Island hashtags. I include it every time. Venmo, TikTok, whatever. So do that. And then in terms of content for silent podcasts, I am 3/4 of the way through my preseason coverage of the Challenge USA. We just have to talk about the 3 amazing racers. That's going to be happening Tuesday night. We'll also talk more challenge stuff. If you are a challenge fan, I think it is worth listening to the one I did with Josie this weekend about the Love Island people, because Josie is a huge challenge fan. The other 2 podcasts were with people who haven't watched a challenge. So we were really able to kind of like have some in-depth challenge conversations. And if you are a challenge fan, like, I think that they would be enjoyable, especially if you don't get to talk to other people about the challenge, to hear us going back and forth about it. But I am recording TJ Hates Quitters again tomorrow. We are going to cover this past week of All Stars. I think the finale of All Stars is this week. So we'll be wrapping that up. And then July 6th, as we said, Big Brother starts. So you'll be seeing a bunch of silent podcasters covering stuff with that. And the Challenge USA starts. So we'll be doing weekly coverage of that as well. So lots coming up. If you don't follow us on all of our shit yet, I don't know why, but Silent Podcast, Twitch and Twitter and YouTube. So search Silent Podcast on Twitch, YouTube, subscribe, and then follow us, Silent_podcast on Twitter. In addition, we are in podcast form. I keep clicking the wrong thing. So listen, Spotify, Apple, we have an ad up. I listened to it today because I had to listen. So
what did you think?
You did great. You guys did great. I enjoyed it. It definitely was fun to listen to. So anyway, rate us 5 stars, help us get a little bit more exposure out in the streets. And if this wasn't a 5-star episode, you wait for a 5-star episode, because patience is a virtue, and rate us then. So we will catch you next week with some probably not Atlanta coverage, because I can't imagine they're going to show an episode over 4th of July weekend, but maybe they'll surprise us. But definitely Beverly Hills and Girls Trip. So until next time, enjoy whatever time, day, week it is, and we'll catch you later. Bye.